Hello everybody, welcome to episode 8 of Moonshine and Music. I'm Joe Shelton and I'm happy to be here with you for the perfect music show. Please hit the subscribe button. Do not forget to subscribe. Lots of great stuff is coming up in the coming weeks. Today's show is no less awesome, and it comes from our new location. We've changed garages. The next few episodes will take place in Brent Smith's garage. That's just across down by the Garfield Park area in Indianapolis. And Brent is a local comedian. He's volunteered his space for us, and we're greatly thankful for that. He also, I would like to note, is the host of, the co-host of Otto's Funhouse, which is an open stage, open to poets, musicians, I think it says weirdos, misfits, that sorts of thing. Anybody with any kind of modicum of talent is allowed to come up and do an open thing, and it's at the Melody Inn, which is at 38th and Illinois in Indianapolis. They're having their 16th anniversary of that open stage. It's the longest running open stage in the Indianapolis area, and that one is scheduled for May 21st because it's once a month. So go on out there and support Brent, support Otto's Funhouse, because Brent supports us. Anyway, today's guest is Yadin Kol, and he is going to bring you some super fresh music today. I don't know if you've, sometimes you have that feeling when you hear some new artist or some new music and you go, wow, that is such a new sound, that's a different thing. That is Yadin Kol. He really, really, really brings it. Every time I've seen him perform, which is several times at this point, we had just first met when we filmed the episode. But Yadin's a great young man, and he's going to come in today. He's going to tell us all about himself and his wonderful tunes that are, like I said, you're going to really, really enjoy this today. It's something new and a little bit different, and it's very, very cool. And so I want to thank Yadin for being on the show before we even get there. So anyway, Moonshine and Music starts now. All right, welcome to Moonshine and Music, Yadin Kol. Did I pronounce that correct?
Yeah, man. Yadin Kol.
I thought I heard that's how you said it, but I'm definitely a Midwesterner, and my pronunciation is not always snuff.
No problem. I probably had hundreds of people pronounce it wrong so far, so you did pretty good.
So I did well. Well, I wanted to have you on the program. I saw you perform at the Square Cat, Songwriters Open Stage, which was a great performance. And I was like, man, we got to get that dude on the show if he wants to come and talk about his music. So, what we do here is a little different sometimes. We're not just going to talk about music. We kind of like to figure out who the artists are and what their origins are and all that.
Okay.
So like, where did you grow up? And
we're talking whole life story?
Yeah, life story. Like, where'd you grow up? Where were you born? Where'd you live?
So I was born in Atlanta, Georgia. I was raised out in East Atlanta, a city called Stone Mountain, Georgia. And I actually didn't leave until I was 18, and ended up going to school in New York. But my mother's family is from Michigan City, Indiana, so that's my connection to Indiana. Oh. After I finished school, I decided to move out here and try my hand out in the workforce, and music just kind of took me by storm unexpectedly.
So yeah, you grew up in Stone Mountain with your mom and dad, or?
I grew up in a single parent home just with my mother, and I had two siblings. A younger sister, she's about 2 years younger than me, and my little brother's about 7 years younger than me. So I grew up as the oldest.
Are they still down in Georgia?
My sister lives in Georgia. My brother is here with my mother in Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My brother used to live up by Michigan City, so I've been there a whole lot.
Oh, nice.
Do you go up there and play, or do you?
Funny enough, I only played a few times, but one time in particular, I played for the annual Patch Festival, which is really big out there.
Right.
It's a summer festival. They have it, I believe, around the month of August. But I took a small collective up there, and yeah, man, we rocked out for about 2 hours, and it was really nice because my grandmother lives in Michigan City, and she actually got to see me perform. She's not like super mobile all the time, especially like coming out of Michigan City. So for me to go there with my full collective and for her to really see me do my thing was something that I'll never forget. That was really special.
So you talk about your collective. Is that like your band? Or?
No, I actually am a solo artist. But I do collaborate with other musicians and other artists depending on what the event calls for. Depending on what opportunities come my way, but primarily I'm focused on my career as a solo artist.
All right. So, do you have any? I didn't notice if you had a official record.
No, I actually have not released any music yet. So I'm on the brink of my debut release, and I'll be performing it a little later. It's a song called True Love, and it's actually the first song that I ever wrote, and it'll be released around like the middle or early May. So we're only about a month away from it. But my thing, as far as my artistry is concerned, is I've been performing a lot. I've been performing really heavy. And I've gained a lot of experience here on the Indianapolis circuit and here in the Midwest, Chicago, and I also had the opportunity to go out to Louisville twice, and I performed in DC once over the course of the last 2 years, and I've only been doing this for 2 years, so now I'm redirecting my energies and my focus towards putting my music out.
So is it going to be like an EP? Is it going to be like a full
I'm going to release
or?
a single in May. The EP will be released about a month later. The EP will be about a 5-track EP. That won't include the single. It'll be 5 separate songs.
Oh, so like you're going to do a single and then 5 whole other tunes?
Then the full EP.
Oh, that's killer.
Yeah.
So when you were, are your songs, do they come from when you grew up or when you get a little older or?
So at this point, I've been writing for 2 years, and I have a nice body of music, original music, that goes across a few different genres. But in the beginning, I would say that my first at least 4 or 5 songs really just came from personal life experiences, not necessarily things that I experienced growing up per se, but things that I had experienced and seen within my personal life and within the world over the course of my entire life up until that point. I think that being born, just to be quite frank with you, being born a black man, being born to a single parent household, being born in the midst of poverty, it does something to a person. And you can either go south or you can incorporate it into your being for your betterment. And I think that that's what I've been able to do in a lot of ways, most definitely because of my mother's influence. And I didn't have a whole lot of positive influences, but she was a powerful one. Not necessarily when it came to music, but she's the whole reason that I would say I am where I am today, instead of being brought down by the things that I experienced and the things that I saw. So when I became a writer, I just put all of that, all of that suffering, all of the things that I had overcome, all of the things that I had seen into my music. So a lot of my like this first EP and the single that you guys will hear in a little while, I would call it message music, because it vibes. It's something that sounds really good, but it has a deeper message and meaning to it. And that's what I pride myself on as an artist. And I have branched out since then, and I've written other types of music, but I think that music, at least right now, is closest to my heart for sure.
So you were when you were growing up in Georgia, obviously you said in poverty. Mm-hmm. Is that I'm not, obviously I'm from Indiana, and I've been to Atlanta before, but not for very much time. Mm-hmm. Like maybe a day or traveling through or whatever. Mm-hmm. So is that area Stone Mountain? I don't even know that I've heard of the area. Yeah. What's it like down there? Is it?
It's suburbia. It's a suburbia. It's just it's a black suburbia. And the thing I love about Atlanta is it really is a mecca for the black middle class, but you'll see the entire spectrum, just like any state, to be honest. Where I lived, there were a lot of decently, affluent upper or middle to upper class, middle class families. my particular experience, we kind of went through a lot of hardships over the years. Sometimes we were up, but a lot of the years we were down. We had to move a lot, and that was just the environment that I was raised in. But I had a lot of friends and family members and close acquaintances who didn't necessarily have those experiences. So.
I'm sure that shapes you. Do you? What kind of musical influences when you were growing up in Georgia did you have? Was it, because I know there's a lot of country music down there, and there's a lot of Atlanta's big for a lot of hip hop music.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I've watched television before. Lots of folks that are from Atlanta that do hip hop. So I don't know what's your what drove you? What drove you into music and influenced you?
Now that I have become an artist and I've had time to really engage with my identity as an artist, I understand that music has been there all along. But to be honest, man, I actually just got into this only like 2 years ago. So I was big on sports, and because of my mother being afraid of her, I was big on school. And those are pretty much my go-to things all the way up until I was 18. But now that I've reflected on my life up until this point, I see that music was an inseparable part of my existence, man. Like through every sport that I played, on the way to school, on the way home from school, thinking about parties and my most amazing and memorable experiences, there's songs that go along with them. As far as what my early influences were before I became an artist, I was really just big on hip hop. Like I think a lot of kids like me are conditioned to kind of listen to. That's the kind of music that I just came up on because it was what everybody else was listening to, and I think that's kind of normal. A lot of people just listen to the radio. Most people don't really dig into their own specific interests. They just listen to mainstream and what's popular. So coming up in Atlanta, I'm 28 now. I was born in 1990. So by the time I really started to get into music for myself, Atlanta was really, really making a name for itself in the industry, especially when it came to hip hop. We're talking like early 2000s, mid 2000s. And so that was primarily what I listened to was rap and hip hop music. But I had an ear and a love for R&B and soul music, mostly because of my mother and my family. You go to family functions and all you're gonna hear is 60s and 70s and 80s soul. A little bit of blues filtered here and there. So I would say that because of my family, I got introduced to a little bit of that. But I was really, really mainstream, man, until I moved to New York. And I don't know if you've ever been or heard about New York, but it really is the quintessential, melting pot.
Yeah.
And so I got literally introduced to every genre, so many different artists when I went there. I spent about 6 or 7 years pursuing my degree, and that really opened my mind up to the whole world of music. And
what's your degree in?
I got a degree in political science. Yeah, I was gonna be a lawyer, man, and I'm sitting here having an interview with you because I'm a professional artist now.
Well,
but
I could always use a lawyer. There's never a good one. Would
listen,
be nice.
You're gonna have to call somebody else because I don't think I could put in another 3 to 4 years in school, man. That was rough.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. I was bored with school, and my majors were telecommunications and computer science. So, lawyer just never was on my radar.
Yeah.
Going through all those, like, what were the really big artists that you listened to when you were growing up?
Outkast was huge when I was coming up. I would say they were the
Outkast.
Man, come on. Somebody, I got pranked the other day because somebody dropped a post saying that they were making an EP or something like that. It was April Fool's Day though.
Oh man, yeah.
I must have been on something that day because that went over my head. But I was just so excited. But anyway, that was probably the most musical group I listened to at the time because they really didn't restrict themselves to quote unquote trap beats or really,
I didn't feel like they really had any genre.
Yeah, but, it's hard to pick it.
Especially like the one album that was like a double album. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was like they just decided we're gonna make a song from every genre and we're gonna stick it on one record.
Right. And I read a book recently. I believe it is called The Power of Habit. And it actually, funny enough, talked about Outkast's record. I think it might have been Hey Ya. it could have been one of their other ones, but they were talking about how difficult it was to get the public to appreciate it because it was so different than anything else you had ever heard. And I learned about a technique that they use called sandwiching, where they would put it in between two already popular records, and over the course of time, people were able to receive it better. But I found that was really interesting, that their sound was so out there that it was initially seen as unpopular, and now it's like one of the most popular songs in history. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Hey Ya, that was the song that put them like out there to where they came everywhere. You know, I don't even remember how I ended up getting the record, because back then it wasn't like we had Apple Music or something when that came out. Somehow I ended up with the CD of it. I think some friend of mine loaned it to me or something. He was like, dude, you have to listen to this whole thing. And like I listened to it and I was just blown away with their ridiculously, like, they had no way of deciding where they were going to play. And I love that. Like, even on different songs, the different instrumentation and things is crazy.
Yeah. It was just a lot to take in, especially as a kid, you know, coming up, listening to it. It was just something that I gravitated towards. But I think it planted seeds that are now blossoming now that I'm older, now that I'm an artist myself. And really, Outkast just kind of taught me to not restrict myself, and to not feel bound to any particular labels or boxes. You know, I think that's what they were able to do successfully, because unfortunately, and I love rap and hip hop, but it's boxed in. You know, a lot of people won't even allow hip hop into their establishments, and Outkast kind of broke through that glass ceiling and became, you know, national, international.
Well, I think also part of that is they're just such a positive message in most of their stuff. Even you know, it doesn't matter the genre of music. If it's a little bit negative, it turns off some of the venues or places where they would have you play, not through anything other than they just don't want that feeling in there, you know? And then, you know, there are some racial influences in some places where they just don't want hit rap,
most definitely.
which I think is kind of ridiculous, but, you know, some people are like that, and but, you know, like a group like Outkast comes along and they're just undeniable.
Yeah, like how you gonna not let Outkast in the building?
Like especially they're so happy, you know what I mean? It's like so as you like you know, you went off, you went to New York, and you started writing tunes. You didn't like you know, it sounds like that some of that's rubbed off on you in the way that you play. Like, you know, it isn't necessarily any one box that you want to be in. You kind of want to be like. Yeah,
that's definitely a part of my brand, and something that I seek to embody at all times, not just within my music, but with people as well. You know, I think people need to be more tolerant and humble themselves and be more open, because we just don't realize how alike we are, and we choose these, you know, minute things to pick out as differences, not realizing, you know, how connected we truly are, you know. So that's something that art and music has taught me as well, and I appreciate it for that.
So you a moment ago, I was thinking that you said you were in sports. What did you play? Did you play football, basketball?
I was a track guy.
Track guy?
Yeah. I ran track in high school. I ran track at Columbia University, where I went to college in New York. And it was a really amazing experience. Coming up, though, I was big on basketball. All of my uncles and friends, everybody everybody was playing ball, which is interesting because football is big in the South. But one year, I have a favorite cousin. His name is Darian, and one year I heard that he played football, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try out for the football team. So I had transferred schools that year, and funny enough, the only other instrument that I have played before besides the guitar is the tenor saxophone. I wasn't raised by my father, but he's a master musician. He graduated from Tennessee State University, or Tennessee State College, and he was a drum major. He specialized in the horns, and saxophone was his instrument. So that was one of the few things I knew about him. So when it came time for me to do the band in 6th grade through middle school, I just decided to pick up the sax. But I put that away by my freshman year, and then I started to get into basketball and stuff heavy. And sophomore year, I transferred schools to Peachtree Ridge in Gwinnett County, which is north of Atlanta in Georgia. Everything in Atlanta is funny is in reference to Atlanta, like northeast. Are you northeast, west, or south? Where are you. But anyway, Peachtree Ridge is in North Atlanta, and that's where I started playing football. So the reason I played is because the band director found out that I played the saxophone and asked me to be in their marching band. And I didn't want to be in a marching band at all anymore. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to be playing football, and that conflicts. So I don't think we can. I don't think we can do this together. Yeah.
That marching band thing, man. They're that's a serious like sporting event in and of itself.
Yeah.
I mean, they like walk 10 miles and like
especially in some schools,
carrying the instruments heavy,
and especially in college. In college, it might as well be a sport if you made it that far.
Yeah. So, I mean, I love sports, and have we made you a Pacers fan yet, or a Colts fan?
I dig the Pacers, but I'm gonna be a Georgia boy at heart for the rest of my life. So, pretty much all Atlanta teams is who I'm rocking with. But the Pacers have been making some nice moves actually. So, yeah, I don't follow sports as much these days. Pretty much it's music 24/7. But I dig the Pacers, and I dig the city's support for him. Definitely some diehard fans here.
Well, I've got my Pacers gear on today for this particular.
I see that.
For this particular episode. Sports are a big part of my life growing up too, and like I know what you're talking about with the music because I'm a little older than you, but I had like Walkman with the earphones, and I mean every time when we were doing weightlifting or whatever, I mean everybody in the room would have their their music on, and it just really adds to it, especially I would think if you're a runner.
Yeah.
I mean definitely. Because it can get boring just like going for like a whatever kind of run, 2 or 3 miles or whatever.
Yeah. and there's a little bit less of the team aspect in running, so you really have to like find ways to be in tune with yourself, and I think music does that for a lot of people. You can just block the world out and listen to whatever you need.
Well, man, I really, it's been great meeting you, and I'm really glad to have you here today. Do you want to go over and play a couple 3 regional songs for us and rock us out and get all of the Moonshine and music people on your side?
All right, let's go.
All right, man. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
All right, peace, man.
Next week on Moonshine and Music, Carrie, Ray, and the Shaky Legs are in studio. They're going to give the most epic harmony performance that you're ever going to hear anywhere. I mean, I don't want to be overly hyperbolous, but take a listen to this.
How for 60 years and 19 days they woke up in the dark, they'd find their way.
All right, everybody. So my name is Yadin Kol, and the first piece I'll be sharing is called Contribution. I wrote this one when I realized that I had been putting myself through a hard time to obtain something that I really didn't personally desire. And I just realized that I need to figure out what's important to me and do things for myself, and that when I do it, it actually does mean something. It actually is a worth. So this song is called Contribution.
Forks come in the road to force you to choose, and you can search for days and days and be no closer to truth. So what's your truth? Are you master of your soul, captain of your ship? Do you understand you do your part in every single moment you live? So when you make sure they're fed in the morning before school, know you're worthy. And when you gotta put aside the suit and tie just to get your hands dirty, isn't what you say, the way you walk, you get back up through it all. Check where you stand, life don't want no empty hands. Feel the heat from the fire that's been burning in your heart. Cause you cannot wait to start doing your part. What's your contribution? Bring forth your contribution. We need you for the revolution. Life is your contribution. They will question why you do what you do. And it may take you years and years to see you ain't got nothing to prove. Life is what you choose. So go and head back to school and spend your days playing the blues. Never let them steal your shine. You haven't got a moment to lose. So when you're on your way to that job you hate, now you know you're worthy. It may not be the sight of your dreams, but it still has purpose. It's in every smile and every breath. Live so soulful till you rest. This is your fate. Life makes no mistakes. Feel the heat from the fire that's been burning in your heart. Cause you cannot wait to start doing your part. What's your contribution? Bring forth your contribution. We need you for the revolution. Life is your contribution. Oh yeah. Life is your contribution. Life is your, 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 life is your contribution.
Thank you. Alright everybody, now that we got the first song Jitters out the way, this next piece is called Hammurabi's Code. And just a little bit of history. Hammurabi was like our first notion of like law, like an eye for an eye. That's where that saying comes from. I wrote this song in the midst of being just really frustrated with all of the back and forth between law enforcement and my community. And I just realized that being vengeful and, you know, the whole eye for an eye thing really doesn't work out. You know, like they say, you know, an eye for an eye and everybody's blind at the end of the day. So I kind of wrote this song in that spirit. This is Hammurabi's Code.
Eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. A soul for a soul leaves nowhere to go. Time and time again we've heard we're reaping what we've sown. Now we see that Hammurabi's code has got to go. When it comes to life, we're the same life force in our veins, yeah. No codes, we are mind and body, but don't forget your soul. No, don't forget your soul. I'm important, but not more than you. I have religion, but you can have yours too. We've been taught to believe what we see, neglecting how we feel. Illusion, smoke and mirrors, child, I promise it's not real. Talking about your hair, your skin, your clothes, your size. I mean your country, your house, your money and eyes. You see the body is just a soul's disguise. Realize when it comes to life, we're the same life force in our veins, yeah. No codes, we are mind and body, but don't forget your soul. No, don't forget your soul. but we come in peace. And we are dignified, even if you don't see. Be not conformed, there's nothing new under the sun. There is no separation, before birth we were all one. Talking about the spirit and love and truth and the night, and cosmical order when day or when night. No witness can witness humanity's plight. And I see, and I see. So just see, when it comes to life, we're the same life force in our veins, yeah. No ghosts, we are mind and body, but don't forget your soul. No, don't forget your soul.
Thank you. All right, everybody. So I will be releasing my debut single. I'm very excited about that, and that is coming around in the beginning of May. We're shooting for the 1st or the 5th of the month. But this next piece that I'm going to share is actually going to be that single that I plan to release. This is really special to me. It's the first song that I ever wrote, and I kind of wrote this one in the spirit of realizing that true love comes from within yourself. That when you look to the outside world and to other people to know your worth, you'll always come up short. So yeah, this is true love. I hope y'all enjoy, and I've really enjoyed myself today.
What is beauty? Is it the color of your skin? Is it the clothes you wear? Or is it the light that lives within? And what is love? When it's so hard to find, there's so much pain. Yeah, people can't find the words to say, but we cannot let that dim the light we have within. We cannot let that dim the light we have within. They will persecute your soul just for not doing what you're told. We were not by the lies you sold. We are beauty, we are bold. We were all born to dance and sing. We are kings and we are queens. No one can come up in between what He has planned for you to be. Talking about true love. Talking about true love. Talking about true love. Talking about true love. Yeah, true love. True love, talking about true love. Can't take it away. We've been fooled to think we're really small. From our scars you can see we've been through it all. We find ourselves in the faces of stars. You can find us up above in clouds not far. But we cannot let that dim the light we have within. We cannot let that dim the light we have within. They will persecute your soul just for not doing what you're told. We were not by the lies you sold. We are beauty, we are bold. We were all born to dance and sing. We are kings and we are queens. No one can come up in between what He has planned for you to be. Talking about true love. talking about true love, talking about true love, talking about true love, yeah, true love, talking about true love. Can't take it away. I am light, you are light, he is light, she is light, we are light, and light is love. Carry on, persevere, be led by your spirit. Raise your hands, heaven's here. They will persecute your soul just for not doing what you're told. We will not buy the lies you sold. We are beauty, we are bold. We were all born to dance and sing. We are kings and we are queens. No one can come up in between what he has planned for you to be. Talking about true love, talking about true love, talking about true love, talking about true love, yeah, true love, yeah. Can't take it away.
Thank you all so much. My name is Yadin Kol. Peace.
Yadin Kol, thank you for coming in today. That was an incredible performance. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for being on the show. And I want to thank all of you guys for checking in with us. Don't forget to visit our sponsor, Eat New Media. They're also our production company. Go to eatnewmedia.com and check out their wares. You can also find me at mrjoeshelton.com and see all the tour information. This week you can find me at Richard's Brick Oven Pizza and a Songwriters open jam on Tuesday, and then on Thursday I am the featured act before the open stage at Nico's Open Stage at Alley's Ale House in Fishers, and then on Saturday I play a full show for you at the Beer Brewery on the north side of Indianapolis. Yes, I'm returning for a full show inside the Indianapolis area. It'll be great to see all you guys there. I know it'll be a packed house that night, so please come early. May 19th, the Beer Brewery, Indianapolis, 65th Street. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody tuning in today. Coming back to us next week and see Carrie Ray and the Shaky Legs right here on Moonshine and Music. Moonshine and Music is a presentation of Eat New Media in association with Notlehs Entertainment. Producers for today's program are Brandon Lay and Joe Shelton. Be sure to join us next time on Moonshine and Music.